Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a makeover, well, not necessarily a makeover, more of a refresh on our primary bedroom. So this is a space that has transformed over the years, but really has never made a big impact, and it's just kind of basic and boring and just needs a little love and TLC. You know, we spend a lot of time in here. Well, do we? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we don't spend that much time in here. So I just want to give this a refresh. Now, I'm going to do that without spending a lot of money because honestly, I just don't want to invest a ton of money into things. I want to like maybe shop the house and see if there's anything I can repurpose or move around, that kind of stuff. So let's get to it. I did buy a few things. So I did buy a rug, which we're going to be putting in, and I did buy a couple of throw pillows. But other than that, it's pretty much going to be what I find in my home, what I can reuse, what I can reimagine. I think it's really important, especially for those of us that are on a budget, to ensure that we are using what we have. And, you know, I think a lot of us kind of fall into the trap of thinking we need to go out and buy something new every time we want to refresh our space. And that's just not true. A lot of ways that I kind of contend with that is I shop my home, I look to repurpose things, try to re-envision them, move things from space to space to my house. So, you know, obviously the big pieces are going to stay here. Our bed we've had for years and it's comfortable, it's nice. Would I like a new one? Yes, I would. I think it's a little too big for the room, especially after talking to you guys about scale and stuff like that. You know, it's just really big. But when we bought this bed, we bought it for a different home that had vaulted ceilings, so it made sense there. But we move around a lot, and the reality of it is sometimes you just don't want to spend money on new things when you have something that's perfectly good. So that's what we're going to keep. We're going to keep the bed. We're going to keep the dresser and nightstands. They're IKEA. We've had them for about a decade. They're probably close to being done, but until I figure out if and when I want a new bed, I don't really want to invest in something new there. So we're just going to use what we have. Obviously, I want to hang some curtains here and here to soften it up. Well, here to soften up the room a bit. You know, this blind is kind of odd. We have these really short windows here, which the bed fits perfectly under. But we also have this window, and you know, right now our furniture is just in front of all of the windows, so it makes it hard to have curtains. But I do want to soften up this space right here. So we're gonna put curtains on this window, but not that one. It's my house. I'm gonna do what I want. So, and if it looks weird, then we'll figure that out from there. But that's what we're gonna start with. So let me give you a tour of the space. It's messy, it needs to be cleaned, but I'm not gonna clean it before I redo it. So it's just what it is.
We started by rolling up the old runner and making space for the new rug.
We're going to start with the rug. This will set the tone for everything. Oh, she's so pretty. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And so then, I guess the best thing to do is roll it this way. Like, instead of being rolled that way, roll it this way. So that we can get it underneath the bed.
So we thought that we could just slide the rug underneath the bed, but every time Ian lifted, the side rail came out of the footboard. So we ended up having to change our plan and move all of the bed out. When shopping for a rug, it's important to think about size. You want something that at least 2 feet or 4 feet of your bed can fit on. You want about 2/3 of the rug to fit underneath the bed frame and 1/3 of it to be sticking out. That way you can see the print and pattern, and there's enough room on all 3 sides for you to put your tootsies on it.
Okay, so I've got these panels. I think they were actually, I picked them up a while ago for another project and just didn't use them. But they're shears, right? So, and they have this like weird pointy end on them, which I don't want. Gives me real 90s vibe. I think they were actually used as table runners. But what I'm gonna do is like, just cut that portion off. It's on the other end too. And I've got 2 of them. But I'm gonna cut this pointy portion off, the triangular portion, and I'm actually gonna make them into curtain shears for over the bed. So this is what I was talking about, like using what I have instead of buying new. So I'm gonna do that really quick. I don't think it'll take me very long, but I do think that they'll be long enough that I can cut both ends off. So I need to measure these and see if it'll work. And I also need to find, I know I have one, I think I have like 4 or 5 curtain rods to go above the window too. So let's do that next. They're gonna be super long. Yeah, I might actually have to hem them even more than that.
So I made these curtains using a very simple technique. I just folded over and did a rolled hem and then sewed about a 2-inch pocket to ensure that there was room for the curtain rod. One day, maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to make your own curtains, but it's really simple.
Are you at the edge of at the edge of the trim?
No, more inches.
I don't have a few more inches.
Yeah, that's the
Oh, just got smacked in the face.
So I need a different one.
That's the longest one I have. Okay. Didn't really want to buy a new rod. I wonder if I can put an extender in it. Innovation, the key to success. So I think if I put this here, and then the little one, and then the big one, we can extend it to where we need it. Are you on the outside here?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll do that, and then we'll just put a bracket there in the middle. Okay, so I've got about 18 inches of fabric here that is just going to get caught in the vacuum cleaner if I don't do something about it. So I'm actually going to just cut it off at the floor so that I know exactly how long it needs to be and go from there. Because I want to give myself a little bit extra for hemming. And it's okay if it puddles just slightly on the floor. So I'm gonna cut it right here. And then one thing to note is if your fibers are running the same way you're cutting in your material, you can literally just rip it. And in theory, it should rip straight across on the bias. And you'll just have to cut it on the other side where it's sewn. See there? Look, I've got all this extra that I'm probably not going to do anything with because it's got that point in it, but you know, honestly, I could probably leave it like that and it wouldn't fray too terribly bad, but since I cut it long, I'm actually going to try and hem it. So I'll have to take the curtains down to hem that, but it's a little tip for you. So do you guys see this area right here along the blind? It looks like there was some sort of sticker on it and it's discolored and kind of brown. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but I really wanted to get a new blind, but there's nothing wrong with this other than that looks gross and dirty. So I'm actually just gonna paint it and we're gonna make it look new and fresh and save a little bit of money. Because this is a 72-inch window and those blinds are not cheap. So we're gonna do that as a hack and to save about 50 to 60 bucks. That already looks so much better and it's just the first coat. I'm gonna do one more coat on it just so that it's a little less streaky, but it doesn't, the paint doesn't bother the mechanicals of the blind, so saves me money and also keeps something that's perfectly usable out of the landfill, which is always a plus. So we mounted our TV high up on the wall, because Ian and I are tall and if it's much lower we'll hit it with our shoulders, but this black cord has driven me crazy. Now you've probably seen other YouTubers use this cord mate stuff. You pick it up at your local hardware store. We got it from Home Depot. And what's great is you just slip the cord in it and then you can paint it the same color as your wall and it looks a lot better than just some random cord hanging. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is try to move it this way so that it goes down the wall a little better than, because our plug is over there. And so we don't have to have extra, but I'll just put some Velcro on the back of the TV to help hold it in place. It comes with this adhesive strip, so you just put your cord in this little slot and then attach it to the wall there, and then you're good as gold. Box here, and I found this little mirror at a thrift store, or an antique store rather, and in the morning when I'm getting ready I have to go into the bathroom or another room to check and see if I like my earrings with my outfit, so this will be perfect right here, I think. Perfect. So I also found these guys at a thrift store, maybe it was an antique store, but they're dried florals, and I love finding art that pairs together but doesn't necessarily match perfectly. Kind of gives this curated look that we were talking about in our previous video on 8 ways to make your home feel more styled and designed like a pro. So I'm thinking that these will be a nice little addition under here to help. I'm gonna pull this way and this lamp this way, but I already had these that I did find these at a thrift store, I know. And I just printed that, or excuse me, I just had those framed And you know, I just thought they would be nice planking either side of the bed. I personally love symmetry in a primary room. So having these and having them kind of sit on the outside of this, maybe inched in a little bit to help elongate the eye, really is helpful. And it helps kind of fill the space without it being too overwhelming. So I've got one on this side and one on the other side. So I'm gonna hang these guys. Y'all, look at the difference between this. This one has not been steamed, and that one has. Do you see that? Like, it looks completely different, or at least in person it does. So I'm gonna steam this other one right here, and then we'll get to final touches. So one tip I have for you is to get a larger size insert, then you get a cover, and then that way your pillows will always be fluffy and they won't look limp and lifeless. However, they are a little harder to get into the cover. So I've gathered some things around my house to use to decorate in here and to help me style. Again, trying to save money and not go out and buy a lot of new things. So let's style with what we have and see what we're missing. I really want to focus on this area, which is our dresser. You know, the room is really small, so this is really the only place you can put the dresser and have it still functionable. Ideally, I would have loved for there to be enough room to put it here underneath the TV, but we're just not that lucky. So we got a really small space, which is perfect for the two of us, but we need some more decor here. I want to clean up this area here and kind of style it. But yeah, it's coming together. So let's focus on this area right here. This lamp is one that Ian has had since college. So I got a new lampshade that matches the other lamps in the room. So it kind of blends with the ones we already have while utilizing a base that we already had. And then of course my little pothos, which is happy by the window. So we're gonna try to keep him in here. I think the base, as well as this like beautiful terracotta color on the bottom, helps to pull in some of the more rich tones, which is really nice. So let's style this area. So I've got a wedding photo of ours. We both graduated NC State, so we've got the Wolfpack sign, go Pack. They won this weekend against LSU, barely, we won't talk about it. I really love this vegan leather, let's call it what it is, pleather frame color. It brings in that terracotta color without having to bring in another, with being able to bring in another material. We do have, I swapped out the leather pulls, or excuse me, I swapped out the pulls on our nightstands to be these little leather ones. We just have these simple IKEA nightstands, but we've got these leather pulls that I got from Etsy. So it's small, minimal touches like that that help to carry that color and material around the room. So we'll start with using this and adding some height to balance out the the lamp. And then I have this little tray that I got from World Market at one point for Ian's watches and wedding ring. Right now they're just loose on his nightstand, so this will be a good spot to kind of corral those. This piece of pottery is a hand-thrown piece that my grandmother was, when she was decluttering, was getting rid of. So it's kind of special that I have something from her. She's one of my favorite people. So to have her and think of her every time is really nice. It also has some blue and again some of those warmer tones that we're using in some of the space. So if I were to just place it here, it feels kind of, you know, it's mid-tier, but I can kind of adjust the height of it by either adding a sprig, which, you know, if you watch my 8 ways video, you know that I like dried or real plants to help bring some life into the space. So, but that helps to bring some height to that. So we've got 3 different heights, again, creating a vignette. So you've got a brass and a kind of a catch-all to make the mess kind of consolidated. We've got brass on the knobs on the dresser, which brings it here. We've got the blue and the green, so there's blue in some of the pillows, excuse me, the blue and the tan, and so that's bringing in stuff from the pillows. We've got the faux leather, which is great, so I like this little vignette. So let's create something over here. So I really like this little guy. He is happy by the window. He needs to get some indirect light, so I'd really like to keep him here. But I feel like he's kind of squat next to this lamp. So one of the tricks that I use, A, to bring in color, and B, to add in height, is to utilize books. Now, I got a bunch of old books while I was in North Carolina. Some of these are from that. Some of them are from a thrift store that I picked up a couple weeks ago. But let's see if we can bring in some more of this rust tone and elevate this little guy. Needs a little water, but so he might be happy there. And then maybe we use a candle.
So sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error to get the balance just right. So, you know, while you're working through your own projects, try things on for size, see what you like, move things around, and get that mixture that makes you happy. It takes some trial and error, but you will definitely get a mixture that you like. So keep at it.
Okay, so I think I'm happy with that for now. So let's turn our attention to the nightstands. So for the nightstands, I like to keep them pretty minimal since we charge our phones here at night. You know, Ian really likes to have this clock so he can tell his alarm clock and then a drink holder. So I think I'm going to keep his side pretty simple. He also is a big proponent of tissue by the bedside. So I tried to find a tissue box cover that I liked, but I haven't found one, so I'm still on the hunt. So I think we'll leave his relatively simple. Just give it a good dust. So similar to Ian's side, I charge my phone here at night and my watch. So I actually have this little stand that I'll keep here. I have cords running here. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just part of life. So I think my camera is about to die. And I've got our wedding cake topper here, as well as a book that I'm currently reading and my iPad.
Let's take a look at what this space used to look like and get ready for the big reveal.
what do you guys think? I think it turned out pretty good considering I utilized what I had already on hand. Obviously, I purchased a few things such as my rug, the little mirror, as well as those 2 pillows and covers on the bed. You know, I think I spent around $300, which the majority of that was in the rug. Obviously, those larger rugs cost more money, but they make a big impact. So I hope you liked today's video. I hope it inspired you to reimagine your spaces using what you have and maybe pulling something from another room that could be used in a different space. Also, I hope to inspire you to find ways to refresh what you have instead of buying new, such as the shears as well as the blind. Obviously, a little bit of paint went a long way in making that look a little bit more presentable. So I love doing videos like this. I think they're a bit more relatable. Obviously, we don't all have thousands and thousands of dollars to go buy new things. You know, in the future, I'd like to get a new bed frame, and maybe some new side tables and a dresser. But for now, we're gonna use what we have until it doesn't work anymore. So I hope that this video helped to inspire you to look at your spaces with new, fresh eyes and see what you can do to reimagine them. If you liked today's video, click the like button, hit subscribe, and come back every Saturday for new content and new videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!